I'm Amanda Ziadeh with WashingtonExec, and joining me today to talk emerging technologies in the federal civilian space is Mark Valcich, U.S. Public Sector General Manager of Civilian for Intel Corp. Thanks so much for being here today, Mark.
Thank you. Good day, everybody. Nice to be here and get a chance to chat with y'all.
Awesome. So, Mark, you lead Intel's U.S. federal civilian team. What emerging technologies or initiatives are you and your team most excited about?
Our federal civilian customers have an incredibly complex job in order to deliver capabilities to U.S. citizens. And what I'm most excited about is the digital transformation that they're going through to improve the customer experience as well as the delivery and optimization of outcomes that the government provides to the public. So it's incredibly exciting for me. There's a lot of focus today on things like zero trust and being able to, just assume that you're operating in a contested environment. And build upon the capabilities that we've had for a number of years in terms of securing and encrypting the data in transit, the data being stored, and now actually having the ability to secure the data in process, right? And we're starting to see latent needs turn into actual requirements. For example, USPTO recently announced in an article that they are going to be trying to to use encryption and use technology to secure their claims data as a result of some of the experiences they've had. And then I say, secondly, on top of digital transformation, one of the key opportunities that we have to enable faster mission outcomes is through the acceleration and optimization of research and science models that are used by entities like the space centers as well as the energy labs. And having the ability to take those complex physical device simulation and modeling algorithms and to dramatically improve the performance. As a matter of fact, we just saw with the Crossroads supercomputing launching that they put out a white paper and were able to demonstrate an extremely promising 8.57x improvement node over node from their prior generation Intel Broadwell era HPC systems to the new fourth gen Xeon Intel codenamed Sapphire Rapids with high bandwidth memory. So a brand new technology bringing that more than 8.5 times improvement to the science mission, which is important. Getting those outcomes faster, allows more work to be done and better overall optimization of the resources. So very exciting times, and I feel like we're just at the beginning of digital transformation, the customer experience transformation, really accelerating better outcome for our customers.
Certainly sounds very exciting. So, how are you and your team helping your customers implement these technologies to drive mission outcomes?
My team manages our relationships with the U.S. federal civilian government, and we work very closely with them to identify these digital transformation opportunities with our customers, and focusing first on what's the problem, and then what is the desired outcome, right? And then introducing Intel's technology roadmap and capabilities as part of the process down the road to identify intersect points to impact that problem state and improve those outcomes. Also, and even more importantly, Intel's making the investments today in U.S.-based manufacturing, multi-billion-dollar investments in a brand new manufacturing site in Ohio, as well as the build out of our semiconductor manufacturing fabrication facilities in Arizona. And that is a significant investment that our CEO, Pat Gelsinger, has talked about several times and has shared with the federal government, and will enable not only Intel, but the United States of America to manage the geopolitical risk and focus on providing secure supply chain capabilities for semiconductors, which are basically the new oil in our economy, right? And is an important part of our industrial security as a country. So it's extremely exciting, and it's very humbling, that we have this opportunity at Intel here to help impact U.S. national industrial security.
Awesome. Yeah. So now that we've talked about some of the emerging tech and the ways in which they're being used, Can you tell us a bit about the most common challenges that you're seeing federal customers face as they modernize and implement these emerging technologies?
Great question about challenges, right? As a former enterprise architect with Intel's IT department a decade and a half ago, we saw the same exact things with the federal government seeing now. It's people and it's process, right? How do you change something that's been done for years and decades and take advantage of this new automation capability to make the job faster, better, and more secure, and improve the outcomes and get to those outcomes faster. People and process changes, are something that there are best known methods and practices in order to do that. I'm actually seeing some signs of the government, actually several examples of the government actually embracing those challenges and driving the opportunity forward.
Yeah, what are the steps that some of the agencies are taking to overcome these challenges?
Leveraging some of the enterprise architecture best practices and driving the technology change as part of an outcomes based transformation initiative. And we've seen examples of the U.S. Federal CIO Council embracing TBM, Technology Business Management, right? That is an enabler in terms of defining a best known method for managing technology within a business or a mission and aligning your resources and optimizing your resources and your processes and your roles and responsibilities towards those best known methods. And then even an example for you. Going back several years, working with U.S. borders, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, there was a very slow and antiquated process to do the agricultural inspection of food, flowers, and other goods coming through the border. And what was happening, right? When you went to the store to buy your produce and your flowers, you'd get home, and guess what? The flowers were dying within a matter of days. The petals were falling off. The fruit, vegetables, sometimes it only lasts for a very short time. So what did CBP do, right? At that time, they were working in conjunction with USDA. They modernized the process. They automated the workflow. Those USDA inspectors moved over into CBP, and instead of walking out with a clipboard to inspect the goods coming over, and then going back to the office eventually and entering it in, they do it all in real time on an Intel vPro based tablet and have that data automatically process the information to get the products and goods on the shelves faster. And then, hey, we all have a better experience with those flowers lasting longer and the fruits and vegetables lasting longer, right? So that ties it right into, hey, not only what is the government doing, but what does it mean to us as a citizen and a consumer? That experience, that customer experience, definitely improves. So a very good example.
Thank you for working through that with us and helping us understand that process. So, Mark, before we close, I want to talk about Intel's five superpowers. I understand those are ubiquitous computing, pervasive connectivity, cloud to edge infrastructure, AI, and sensing. So, how do those five superpowers guide you and your team's work?
Yeah, and that comes straight from our CEO, Pat Gelsinger. The five superpowers are actually the building blocks for the government's digital transformation. It's that simple. And Intel, as an ingredient supplier of open and secure technology, from the edge to the core to the cloud, pervasive across the mission, across several missions within the U.S. civilian government, allows Intel to provide hardware security technologies, for example, that work with the solution providers and software vendors to provide a more resilient software hardware secure capability, but then also optimize that data as it's being processed at the edge. In some cases, the transmission optimization of the transmission of that data using Intel technologies, the storage of that data using Intel technologies, and then the deeper analytics and processing of that through various types of acceleration engines that are actually embedded in the processor to accelerate in-memory analytics, to accelerate AI, machine learning, deep learning, right? It's just the same as back in the 90s when we introduced MMX technology to accelerate multimedia capabilities in our web browser. As the world began to take advantage of those capabilities, we're continuing that. Several enhancements and accelerations from a security algorithm processing perspective that are FIPS validated, as well as those analytics, AI, machine learning, and deep learning capabilities. So at the end of the day, hey, it's all about how can we help the end user, the government of the United States, do more with less resources and take advantage of open, secure ecosystems to provide them with a competitive, openly competitive capability that they can deploy throughout their mission, just like we've been doing for decades here at Intel.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for talking us through these emerging technologies and how the federal government is using them and how Intel is helping.